All right, so find a comfortable seat. We'll start with, sometimes it's called a centering. Some people might think of it as a meditation. I suppose you could call it that. I just want you to find a nice comfortable seat and close your eyes. And there are lots of different approaches to mindfulness, awareness, spirituality. These are really, to some degree, all the same thing. Sometimes spirituality can get very flowery. It can get very out there, so to speak. And that's fine. That's appropriate at some times. It's some people's experience. It can be very powerful and beautiful that way, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's not always that way. And oftentimes, the most powerful spiritual teachings are not very glamorous or flowery or out there. So let's go ahead and just find a seat, sit tall, close your eyes, and I'd like you to just allow yourself to notice the experience you're having right now. In Zen, we sometimes say, take the backward step. So imagine that you could take one step back out of your own experience. So imagine that now you are a awareness, you are a consciousness, and you are observing your own experience right now. So if you could do that, what you would find is this being that you're observing that you normally would call yourself. So I'll just use my name, Douglas. You'd notice that Douglas is experiencing sense perceptions, like the sound of my voice, the temperature of the room that you're in, and even subtle things like the weight of your clothes on your skin. If you just take a moment, you can notice that you actually can feel that. But normally, you tune it out. But during yoga, we want to start to tune those things back in. So we're just noticing things like the weight of our body on our mat. Okay, so those are all sense perceptions. And then let's begin to notice our mood. Right? Are you excited about this class? Are you afraid or nervous? Are you curious? Do you have expectations? So notice that all of those are felt inside the body, right? So we might label something nervousness, anxiety, sadness, but really if we pay attention, they're just sensations inside the body, right? Just take a moment to notice that. Whatever emotion you're feeling, it's really just a sensation in your body. And then if you take a moment, you'll notice that those sensations often lead us to certain conclusions, certain thoughts. So again, if you have a certain expectation, a feeling of expectation, there might be certain thoughts about what you're thinking the class is going to be. Or maybe it's not about this class. Maybe it's about later in your workday. You've got a project and maybe you're anxious or nervous, and you'll find that your mind will run certain movies, little movies, images, or certain thoughts. We have, again, what's called self-speak. So you might be sort of talking to yourself right now in your own head. You might be commenting on what I'm saying in your own head. So this is what taking the backward step is about. We take a step back and we're just observing all of this. And it's really actually quite fascinating when we do that. A human being is this mix of sense perceptions, emotions, and thoughts. And as that observing awareness, we're not trying to judge whether we're a good person or a bad person, whether we should be having this emotion or we shouldn't be. We're just noticing what is. What is Sarah going through? What is Allie going through? What is Douglas going through? What is Andrea going? We're just noticing without the judgment. And if you pay attention, I think you might find that there's a kind of a peace, a kind of tranquility that comes with that. It might be very subtle, but there's just this sense of okayness that can come with that, just observing without the judgment. So we're just noticing what this person is going through in a very loving and accepting way. So again, I don't always like the way I react to situations. I don't always like the feelings or the thoughts that I have. But when I take that step back, I'm just accepting myself as I am at this moment. And I'm also accepting the world as it is at this moment. So maybe the temperature of your room isn't what you want it to be. Maybe the start of this class is, again, not what you were expecting. So again, we're just allowing ourselves to notice these things. So let's keep this very loving, accepting awareness. Let's keep that step back that we've taken. Let's stay in that perspective. And then we'll begin to notice that we can change things, right? So let's change our breathing. On the next inhale, we're going to fill first our belly and then our ribs and then the upper chest. And as we exhale, we'll just reverse that. And we're breathing very deeply and very fully, but we don't want to strain. So I want you to notice that point. You're doing more, you're doing more, you're doing more. It's getting deeper, it's getting better. And then at a certain point, maybe it gets a little deeper, but now you're starting to bring in a sense of tension and anxiety and strain. So do as much as you can without that strain, without that sense of anxiety. Let it stay relaxed, but still powerful and deep. Then let's add a little bit of sound. So at the back of your throat, just like you're fogging a mirror, you're going to begin to create a soft hissing sound, an ocean sound at the back of your throat. And it sounds a little like this. So we're keeping the mouth closed, and we want to make that sound both on the inhale and the exhale. That may take a little practice, and that's okay, right? It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. Just doing your best, and that's going to be true of the entire class today. Doing your personal best. And I'm really going to encourage you, do your best because you're going to get what you put into the class. So if you just imagine for a moment, like this is your last hour on earth. This is your last experience. And no, you can't choose to go do something else. This is going to be it. How would you approach this last hour that you and I are going to spend together? How could you get the most out of it, right? Not beating yourself up, not judging yourself, but just loving the experience. This is your last earthly experience. How could you squeeze every ounce of benefit from it? So do your best and do that with a lot of self-compassion and self-love. All right, let's continue with the breathing techniques. We're going to exhale to a tabletop position. We begin warming up the spine. Inhale, tailbone lifts, belly drops, crown of the head up. Exhale, tuck tailbone, round the back, crown of the head down. Good. Coming back to neutral, knees together. Take a deep breath. Exhale, hips to the right, look to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. Good. Let's come back to center. Knees apart, hands now together. Inhale the right arm out to the side. Follow with your gaze. Exhale that hand down. Inhale the left hand up. Follow with your gaze. Exhale that hand down. Side to side with the breath. Good. Coming back to neutral. Let's tuck those toes. We lift the hips and come up and back into a down dog. Pedal those feet back and forth a few times. Maybe roll over the toes. Circle the ankles, bend the knees. You can kick your legs as well. Again, you'll notice if you just repeat these movements for the first, few seconds, the first few repetitions, you're going to get a lot out of them. At least you should. And then after a certain amount of time, you just find the effect lessens. And at that point, you've basically gotten as much as you can out of it for the time being. Let's come into our full expression of down dog. So hands shoulder width, fingers spread wide, index fingers parallel, the 4 pads under your knuckles firmly planted in the ground. Feet hip distance, heels reaching toward the ground, and chest actively drawing toward the toes. And this is called downward dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana in Sanskrit. With the exhale, let's walk our feet toward our hands. We'll come into ragdoll. You can grab the opposite elbow here. You can nod or shake your head, sway your hips, bend the knees. And then with the arms relaxed, let's inhale, we'll roll up to standing, stacking ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels. So as we begin to move, it's easy to lose that vast awareness that we were trying to cultivate at the beginning of the class. So again, I'll remind you, see if you can take that backward step. So now you are the awareness, observing your personal experience without judgment, okay? With a lot of love, a lot of compassion, a lot of acceptance of what you're finding, both within yourself, right? Your own thoughts and emotions, but also the broader experience. You're accepting, let's say, the way I'm guiding the class, and you're accepting the temperature of the room, and you're accepting the postures that we're doing. Okay, so there's just this loving, accepting awareness that you are, and your human experience is contained within that larger loving awareness and experience, okay? Okay, let's do our sun salutations here, Surya Namaskar. So with our feet touching, if possible, otherwise just feet parallel. Inhale, arms up, touch palms and lift the heart, and we are lengthening from our pubic bone through the chin And you can let your head drop back. You can come into a deep back bend if you feel warmed up and ready for that. Good. Let's inhale back through center, and as we exhale, we come into forward fold. Place the palms flat if you can, and bend the knees if necessary. So you inhale, come to your fingertips, or you can take hands to shins. And as you exhale, we'll plant those hands and step to the top of a push-up. Okay, so wrists are directly below the shoulders. If you look at my shoulders for a moment, this is called the plus of a push-up, okay? It's an engagement of a muscle called the serratus. So we want that. We want those shoulder blades integrated on the back because that creates stability. It's a little more work, but we want that. We want to do that extra work, okay? Let's take a deep breath. So exhale, we're going to drop the knees, and what I'd like you to do is not let your shoulders drop below your elbows. So you come down about halfway, maybe a little less. We want to avoid this though, this kind of thing. Okay, see how my elbows are above my shoulders? So we come down about halfway, take a breath here, and then with the next exhale, we drop the rest of the way down quickly, so we're not holding that position, okay? Tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale, press into the hands, head, neck, and chest lift. This is called Cobra, Bhujangasana. As you exhale, come back down, tuck the toes, press back to tabletop, and then to downward facing dog. Now, depending on your upper body and core strength, you might do the entire class with your knees down like that. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so please don't feel like you need to keep your knees up, especially if you have trouble bending the arms. Okay, let's inhale to the toes, look to the hands, and as we exhale, we step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. Inhaling up to our standing back bend, we now grab the right wrist with the left hand, and as we exhale, we pull ourselves over. So hips go to the right, arms to the left, and we're lengthening. So you're going to see this as a theme throughout my teaching. Long, lengthening, stretching, not how far down can I go, how long can I get, okay? And as I get longer, I might be able to go further down too. So they're not mutually exclusive. So inhale back to center, we exhale the other side, and as you hold any stretch in this class, I want you to breathe into that stretch. Notice how the breath can change, at least subtly, the sensations you're feeling in the stretch. Good. We'll inhale back to center, and as we exhale, we release into a forward fold. It's called Uttanasana. Inhale to half lift, that's Ardha Uttanasana, and then exhale, top of your push-up. Okay, so again, your choice, knees up or down. You do need to bend those arms though deeply, okay? So if you are trying to do this and then drop into a back bend, please don't do that. Drop those knees, bend those arms deeply. Take a deep breath, exhale, come down halfway, again, not more than halfway. Inhale, straighten arms and legs. This is called up dog. Our knees need to be off the ground so the legs are active, okay? And then as you exhale, try pulling both feet in at the same exact time as your hips lift up and back. That is downward dog. All right, everyone, let's do one more Sun A. We inhale to the toes, fill the lungs, look between the hands, exhale, step, jump, or float, front edge of the mat. We inhale up to standing back bend. We exhale, we flow right into half moon. Inhale to center, exhale to half moon. Inhale to center, and then exhale as you sit back in an imaginary seat. That's called chair pose, also known as awkward pose. This is a great time to take that step back, right? So this is a pose that is universally hated or dreaded because it's an intense experience. But what if we stepped out of that experience and we just observed it as that loving awareness that we are. So if I'm identified with the person who's having this experience, then, you know, I might have thoughts like, I hate this pose, and oh my God, I'm starting to sweat, and I need to come out of this, or my legs are shaking, I can't stand this. And what we'll find is if we just step back, we just kind of watch those thoughts, we just let the sensations be there, we'll likely find that we don't actually need to do anything. We don't need to come out of the pose. We might find ourselves breathing a little more deeply. I definitely feel the heat building. But in yoga, guess what? In this style of yoga, we're trying to build that heat. Okay, so if you're starting to break a sweat like me, perfect. Perfect. Why? Because that's one of the ways we purify the body, the heart, and the mind in yoga. So that's not something we're trying to avoid, right? We might normally try and avoid feeling like this, but right now we're not. We're trying to intensify that. Good. Let's exhale to a forward fold. We inhale to a half lift, and then let's see if we can exhale right to the bottom of the push-up. That's called Chaturanga Dandasana. We inhale to up dog, or you can repeat cobra. And then if you're able to exhale, put a push-up in on your way out as you come back to downward dog. Okay, everyone, let's bring our feet to touch now. We'll inhale the right leg up and back. Exhale, pull the knee toward the belly, out to the right and back behind. So big circles with the knee. You'll notice I'm keeping my knee bent, so it's not like we're trying to straighten our leg back behind us. We're just trying to move that hip joint, and it's easier with the knee bent, generally speaking. Good. Take a deep breath and exhale as you lunge. Drop the back knee there, and then inhale to this pose, which is called Anjaneyasana, low lunge pose. So a few things I want to point out. Front foot and knee are pointing straight ahead. The knee is basically over the heel. My hips are as far down as they can go, so it's not this. Okay, I'm not back here like this. I brought my hips as far forward and down as they'll go, and then I place my heel under the knee, okay? And then those arms are up and back, framing the ears. Good. Exhale, bottom of the push-up, and we make our way back to downward facing dog. Okay, let's bring the feet to touch. We'll inhale the left leg up and back. Exhale, the knee toward the belly, out to the left and back behind. Okay, we make a few circles in the air, and we do a few in each direction because it can feel very different depending on which direction you're moving. We'll take a deep breath, exhale as we lunge, and we inhale to this low lunge. I want you to feel the stretch of the front of your right hip. And then again, anytime we're stretching, we can bring our attention there and breathe into that space. Good. Exhale, bottom of the push-up, and you make your way back to downward facing dog. All right. Let's take a look at something called a turbo dog, okay? It's a variation of our downward dog. So what we'd like to do
is from this position, I'm just going to bend my elbows and bring them close to the ground. Okay, it's going to engage my tricep. So I bring my elbows really close. I'm not putting them on the ground. I'm just coming close. Take a few breaths there, and then I can straighten back out and rest in down dog for a few moments. So again, it's a great way to begin to strengthen and bring awareness to the arms and shoulders. Really, really common in our culture to have weak shoulders and arms, especially women, unfortunately. It's unfortunate because women really can benefit, in a sense, more than men, especially as they begin to age, by having upper body strength. It helps to keep the bones dense, and a big problem for women in our culture is osteopenia and osteoporosis. So these are ways to just begin to address that weakness if it's there. Just holding for a few breaths. Your arms might shake. Mine are. Mine are shaking. That's okay. And then we straighten back out and rest for a few moments, okay? So don't believe any myth that if anyone told you like women don't need upper body strength or it's not important for women or something like that, that's just simply not true. Okay, let's inhale to our toes. We're going to exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. We'll inhale all the way up to our standing back bend. And then let's just exhale our hands to the hips. Okay, let's take a look at a pose called Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, and we'll look at a prep pose now. Okay, so my feet are touching or as close as I can get them. Hands are on my hips. Now I'll bend my right knee. I'm just going to draw that leg up like so. Okay. Now I can grab underneath that leg and hold it there. Okay. And then from here, if I want, I can try straightening out that leg. Another way to do this, which you'll try later if you don't find that you can straighten the leg, is just to hold the shin below the knee like so. Okay, so you can do this throughout the class, this variation. But right now, let's see if we can hold behind that knee. Just take that leg out, see what we get. And the leg may not go very straight, that's okay. Notice what you feel in your back. Okay, so do you straighten the leg and then you begin to feel a pain in your back? Well, then you're going to bend that knee again. All right, let's exhale that side and we'll try the other side. Hopefully this is very basic and rudimentary for you. That's my hope. Later we will get to much more challenging things. But it's a great way to warm up and it's a great way to cover some fundamentals. So again, a little bit of stretch back here. We're keeping it out of the back, right? And again, later on, if straightening that leg is not good for you, you hold the shin. Okay, so just remember that for later. Okay, inhale, arms up, touch palms, lift the heart. Exhale, forward fold. We inhale to the half lift, and we exhale right to the bottom of our push-up if we can, knees up or down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, push up, tabletop, or straight to down dog, your choice. All right, now we'll learn a pose called three-legged dog pose. And this is a foundational posture that helps us build other poses later in the class. So we'll inhale that right leg up and back. I'd like you to notice a few things. My foot is flexed. The toes, knee, and the hip are pointing down. The leg is straight and lifted as high as I can lift it without lifting my hip. Notice how much higher I can lift that leg if I let my hips open. So I'm not doing that. I'm intentionally keeping that hip down. This is my limit. That's it for me. Okay? So we want to develop that discipline because, again, that's going to come back later. Let's take a deep breath, and as we exhale, we'll lunge. And we inhale to our low lunge, which we already learned earlier. And then now let's exhale, hands to the ground. Rock the hips directly over the left knee, right? So directly over the knee. And then the right leg goes straight. We flex the foot. and we fold over that leg. Now, what if you can't get your hands to the ground? I recommend buy a couple of yoga blocks. They're a great investment. They don't have to be a lot of money. And you can find them, I think, almost anywhere these days. Amazon, Target, Walmart, okay? So we're folding over this and we're stretching back here. This is gonna be an area that we really open up in today's class. These are your hamstrings. So this is designed to stretch those hamstrings a bit, open them up a bit, okay? Good, let's inhale, Anjaneyasana, and exhale, bottom of the push-up, making your way back to downward facing dog. Okay, so side two, we inhale that left leg up and back, three-legged dog pose. Again, it's fairly easy if you do it wrong. If you're doing it right, it's a little more challenging. Let's take a deep breath, exhale as we lunge. We inhale to our low lunge first, and then we exhale to Ardha Trikonasana, half triangle pose, stretching the left hamstring. Good, we inhale to our low lunge, and we exhale bottom of the push-up, making our way to down dog. Okay, from down dog, we'll inhale to the top of our push-up, and as we exhale, we'll come down to what's called a forearm plank. Okay, so I'm on my forearms. You can either have your palms flat, arms parallel, or some people like to do this. They like to interlace the fingers. That's fine too. And just like plank, my ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels all align. And I want you to check yourself. Are you doing this? Okay, very, very common because this is easier. The higher I lift my hips, the easier it gets. So we want to avoid that. We are trying to hold our hips in line with the shoulders and the heels. That's where it gets hard. Again, the plus of the push-up, so we have that serratus engagement. We're not collapsing into it. We're strengthening those muscles. And again, let's take that backward step. Can we just be the calm presence that is watching our, so I'm the calm presence watching Douglas have this experience. And again, it really changes things. It might be very subtle at first, but there's a shift or a change when I do that. Okay, from there, let's come on back to our down dog. You can put a vinyasa in on your way back if you like. Great way to strengthen the core and the upper body, that forearm plank. So that's difficult. Try that at home, maybe every day. Try and get up to holding it for a minute or longer. And just be patient with yourself. All right, inhale to the toes, exhale to the front edge of the mat. Inhale all the way to standing back bend, and exhale, hands to your hips. Okay, let's look at the first variation of Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So with the feet touching, we bend the right knee. And again, you may want to stay here, especially if you have a bad back or you have an injured hamstring. If you want to take it a little further, you reach down, you grab either the big toe or the outside edge of the foot, and then stand tall. Okay, so this is the preparation for beginning to straighten the leg. So you can try this.
And then if you feel okay with it, you take the leg and straighten it out. Now you notice my back is basically straight, my leg is basically straight, and again, I'm not in pain. I'm not in pain in my ischial tuberosity. I don't have pain in my back either. To release, we keep the leg lifted if we can. We inhale, lift that arm, and then we exhale the leg and the arm together. It's not easy to do that. Okay, so it took me a long time to get that down. It's no problem. All right, side two, again, I can stay here. I could do this, which is a little step further, a little deeper, and then again, if it feels safe. And you can do this with your knee bent, you know, so you can try a little bit. That's okay. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. To release, inhale and exhale. Good. Let's inhale, arms up, we touch palms, lift the heart, and we exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift, or maybe you do this pose, Bakasana. This is one we're going to learn later. And we exhale, bottom of the push-up. Inhale, up dog, or maybe you do cobra here. Exhale, push-up, tabletop, or downward facing dog. All right, let's bring our feet to touch. We'll inhale the right leg up and back. As we exhale, we'll touch the knee to our arm. Let's try holding it there and taking a breath or two. If this hurts your wrists, you might try it like this with your fists or knuckles on the ground. Okay, that takes the strain off the wrists. Eventually your wrists should strengthen and make it much easier. Okay, let's inhale that leg up and back. We exhale as we lunge. We inhale to the low lunge, which we've learned. And then we exhale to half triangle, which we've learned. Inhale, low lunge, stretch the front of the left hip. Exhale, half triangle, stretch the back of the right thigh. Good, we're gonna do that 3 more times. Inhale, left hip. Exhale, right leg. 2 more. Stretch. Stretch. And 1 more time. Good. Inhale, front edge of the mat. And exhale, bottom of the push-up. Okay, side 2. Feet touch. We inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to left arm. Just hold and breathe. Good. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half triangle. Continue 4 more times. Beautiful. Inhale, low lunge, and we exhale. Bottom of the push-up, making our way back to the downward dog.
Okay, everyone. Let's inhale to the top of our push-up, and then we're going to exhale to our forearm plank. Okay, so again, these are poses we've already learned. And then from here, let's try a dolphin. It's called a dolphin pose. So I'm going to tuck my toes, walk my feet in as much as I can. Okay, and then I am, again, pushing the ground away from me. So you are not putting your head on the ground, okay? Some people automatically try and do that. They think it's like a headstand. This is not a headstand. My head is not on the ground. Again, I'm really working those shoulders, so I feel them fatiguing. They're shaking. Great way to strengthen those muscles, okay? And this is a great preparation for headstand, forearm stand, and mini arm balances. That's why we do it. All right, from there, let's come back to our downward dog. You can vinyasa or you can go straight back. That is up to you. Okay, we inhale to the toes. Let's exhale to the front edge of our mat and inhale all the way to standing back bend, and we'll exhale our hands to the hips. Let's take a look at the second variation of Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Shift weight to my left foot, bend my right knee, and then again, I can be here holding the shin if that's appropriate. I can also extend the leg if that's appropriate. Okay, from there, with an exhale, I extend my left arm out to the left and I bring my leg to the right. If possible, I look to the left over my fingertips. Good. Inhale, come on back to center, and exhale, release the pose. Side two, same thing. And again, you can do it like this, okay? So don't hurt yourself, don't push too hard, but don't be afraid to explore new things, to move out of your comfort zone safely and with a lot of compassion. Good, we inhale back to center and exhale, release. Inhale, standing back bend, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow, or maybe a handstand this time, and exhale, bottom of your push-up. Inhale, up dog, cobra, and exhale back to downward dog. All right, moving right along. Let's bring our feet to touch. We're going to inhale the right leg up and back, and then we'll exhale and lunge. Bring both hands inside of that foot and drop down to our forearms if we can. If you can't, that's okay. All right, but you get as low as you can inside of that leg. It's called a lizard pose. And I don't know about you, but I definitely feel the tension that's there on the inside of my right thigh and somewhat on the outside of the hip as well on the right side. That's really what we're focused on. Trying to let that release for a few breaths. It takes time for the muscles to stretch. So that's why we hold and we breathe. Allow the body to relax into it. Okay, so from our lizard, let's return our hands to the ground, and then we'll inhale that leg up and back. As we exhale, we lunge, and then we inhale to a high lunge for the first time. This is Ashta Chandrasana. It's also called crescent lunge. The front foot and knee are identical to the low lunge, but now the left knee is lifted and the heel is directly behind the toes in that back leg. Good. Exhale. Bottom of the push-up, making your way back to down dog. And then with feet touching, we inhale that left leg up and back. And we exhale to lizard pose on the other side. Breathing into that part of the body where we feel the most sensation. Good. Returning hands to the ground. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Let's take a deep breath. We exhale, bottom of the push-up, making our way to the downward facing dog. Okay, everyone. From here, let's go ahead and inhale, top of our push-up. We exhale to our forearm plank. Then we walk ourselves into a dolphin. Okay, so we're in our dolphin. Again, we've learned all of this already. And then from dolphin, what I'd like you to do is walk your feet in even more, bend your knees, and see if you can place your knees on the back of your arms. Okay, right into the back of your arms or armpits. And if you have long femurs, you can hold or hug the side of your arm instead. I don't have particularly long legs, so they fit right into the back of my armpits, okay? Okay, so we're in this kind of weird squat. What I'd like you to do is bring your face really close to the ground, but don't touch the ground. Really close. Shoulders are engaged. And then see if you can lift your toes. One side and then the other side. And then try lifting both of them at the same time. Again, I'm not touching the ground with my face. Now, this might not seem particularly impressive, but it's a type of forearm stand. The whole weight of your body is being borne on your forearms. Okay, so it's actually a great way, again, to learn balance, control, flexibility, and strengthen the upper body. Okay? All right, beautiful. From there, let's go ahead and make our way back to down dog. Again, you can do a vinyasa, you can go straight back. And from here, we'll inhale to the toes. We exhale to the front edge of our mat. We're going to inhale up to our standing back bend. Let's exhale, hands to the hips, and let's take a look at the next variation of Utthita Hasta. Okay, so from here, I'll bend the right knee, but I'll grab the shin or the foot with my left hand. Okay, left hand. So I'm going to grab the foot. Now take a deep breath, and as you exhale, send your right hand behind you, look back, and then if you are holding the foot, try straightening the leg. Good. Inhale back to center and exhale, release. Other side, same idea here. We're adding a twist to this shape. Good. We inhale back to center and exhale, release. Inhale, standing back bend. And we exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow or handstand. Exhale, bottom of the push-up. And we make our way to down dog. All right, everyone, we're in the home stretch here. Let's bring our feet to touch. We'll inhale, right leg up and back. Let's exhale to our lizard. All right, we've already learned this one. Now let's take that right leg, put it over the shoulder. Try straightening those arms and lifting your right heel off the ground. So we've stretched those hamstrings out. Let's see if we can use that to lift that leg up in preparation for something we'll do in a moment. You may not be able to lift a foot. That's okay. Again, you're just doing your best. Okay, from there, let's inhale that leg up and back, and we'll exhale as we lunge. We inhale to a crescent lunge, and we exhale to warrior three. Remember three-legged dog. The left leg is doing three-legged dog, but the leg is parallel with the ground along with the chest and the arms. Good, take a deep breath, exhale, bottom of your push-up, you make your way back to downward dog. So at this stage, we're moving a little faster. We've learned a lot of the basics, and so we're repeating a lot of things, just adding a bit. So feet touch, we inhale left leg up and back, and we exhale to lizard. From lizard, I take that left leg over my shoulder, hands shoulder width, gaze up. Lift the left heel as high as you can. Look up. Good. Inhale that leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Inhale to crescent lunge. Exhale to warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3. Good. Take a deep breath. Exhale, bottom of the push-up. Make your way back to the down dog. Okay, from down dog, let's inhale to our toes. We're going to exhale, step, jump, or float to a squatting position. Let's take a look at crow pose. Okay, so to do crow, have my hands and elbows shoulder width. All right, my arms are bent. And again, I'm going to place my shins on the back of my arms. I'm resting them on my arms, okay? Place my hands on the ground, and I lift my tush as high as I can, okay? Now, instead of looking down, I'm gonna look up because I move in the direction I look in. I don't wanna go down. I don't wanna face plant. Now, remember earlier, we tried this. We lifted the toes one at a time. Let's try that. See what happens. Now, if your arm collapses and buckles, that means that just right now you don't have enough upper body strength, but that can change very quickly if you do the things that we did in this class, okay? So don't worry about that. You can strengthen very easily. However, if you're able to do this, try very carefully looking forward, shift the weight forward, and then see if you can lift both toes. That is called Bakasana or crow pose. Okay? So if you're able to do that, the next step is to try one-legged crow pose. The way that you would do that is this leg comes over, like we did earlier in lizard. The left leg is on the shin, and I straighten my right leg out as much as I can, and I lift my left toes. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that. I'll turn so you can see the other side. Looks like that. Okay, and then because it's asymmetrical, I want to do it on the other side, right? So I take my left leg, put it over my shoulder, right shin to the back of the arm, look up, and I try and lift both feet for a few breaths. Now, if you can't do those arm balances, I don't want you to think there's something wrong with you or that you need to be able to do those things to do this class. Working toward them works our body in a good way. So it doesn't matter if we can do the final result. Just trying to get there has a lot of benefits for us. So, you know, if you're a musician, you may never be Mozart or Tchaikovsky or Stevie Ray Vaughan, but just trying to be a better musician will help your brain, help your cognitive function. It helps your endorphins. It has all kinds of benefits for you. So it doesn't matter whether you actually ever become a virtuoso. Just trying has the benefits. So it's the same here. All right, everybody, let's cool down a bit. So sit down, inhale, arms up, exhale, rolling back. Bring your legs in, give them a nice squeeze, and try making a few circles with your knees. Do a few in each direction. And then extending the arms to the sides, we're going to drop our knees to the left as we look to the right. Close the eyes and let the breath be natural. So inhale, knees through center. We'll exhale them off to the other side. Same thing. Let's inhale, knees to center. We'll grab the soles of the feet. And this is happy baby. So we can just stretch out things a little bit before we relax. All right. And then when you're done, you come into Shavasana. Heels apart, palms face up, head centered, chin tucked in slightly. Set a timer on your phone for 6 minutes. And just let your body be still for the next 6 minutes.